Paul Maher's Children's Television Archive.
What kind of creativity do you have power of? I mean, I know Hoyt does a lot of writing, but do you have any kind of creative input?
We do.
Rather than knowing, I guess a good producer is knowing what talent to hire. I mean, that's a talent there.
Well, it depends. Now, for instance, when we do songs, I do a lot of the singing.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I've done.
You do?
Yeah, I've done a lot of the main titles myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, on one a couple of years ago, I think it was Scooby-Doo. I did 15 vocal tracks on that. A lot of times I'll do the lead singer and then do all the backup voices too.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we do a lot of Flintstone vocals, and a lot of our specials have vocals in them.
Mm-hmm.
So again, there it's knowing, as a singer, I have to know a lot of people who can do a lot of different kinds of voices, sing as a goat or sing as a pig.
I guess with the records you have a bit more creative movement because you don't have any restrictions by any networks on you. And
well, really with the songs we don't either, because they're not involved in that. You know, if we're going to do a song for a cartoon, they don't ever hear it until it's finished. And so we just go and do it, and we can actually do it any way we want to, which is where the creative part of it comes in. We've seen the storyboard and we know how it fits in the picture, and usually it's an integral part of the picture. It's like on the Popeye thing coming up. Every song is part of the story. So that way you can actually create sound effects and well, for instance, on Charlotte's Web a few years ago, when the rat did a solo, it was done by Paul Lind, and he had gone to the fair after the fair and gotten soused on all of the leavings, these bits of hot dogs and the popcorn and all the stuff that was left around. And we had a lot of fun with that because we could actually add some burps and some, really fun kind of things. On that same show, we had Agnes Moorehead, she did the goose in that show, and then she went into the hospital kind of right in the middle of the whole thing. Now I had to find a girl singer to match her voice right in the middle of the song. We never had finished the song even. We only had half of one of her songs done. I was playing it for Karen the other day, and you really can't tell that it was not I don't think Agnes could have told.
So if you were looking for somebody to match that, how would you find someone?
Well, because I do a lot of outside singing outside of the studio, and I know most of the singers in town, I know what they can do, and I would know who to call for any particular voice, or at least I'd know another singer I could call to say, do you know anybody that would be able to do such and such? So I've gotten to know all the voices pretty well in town, and we've used just about all of them, from the lowest to the highest.
Now, forgive me for noticing this here, but Bobby Vinton, for instance, let's say you had a character and you thought, well, maybe a Bobby Vinton kind of sound. Are you the one to call up Bobby Vinton and say?
Yes, if we were to deal. Well, no, if we were to deal with Bobby Vinton, usually he would be written into the script. I mean, if they were going to use his singing voice, then he would be a main character of the show. A lot of our shows have had, well, like for instance, Phyllis Diller came in and did one show, and all the Scooby-Doo series about 4 years ago had a star in every one. One of them was Phyllis, one of them was Cher, and one of them, so they were written right in. But when they're written in, then if there's a song, then we'll record the song, call them, find their key, find out when they're going to be in town, and get the thing recorded.
Now, are the things recorded here in the building, or are they sent out to different studios?
No, we do all of our recording outside of the studio because there just isn't room or facility here for that kind of recording. They do all the dialogue here, but none of the music.
Now, with the new building being built, is that going to be
No.
one of the things added?
No, it would be possible in that we almost bought our own recording studio a few years ago.
Mhm.
But we do maybe 3 sessions a week when we're really busy.
I see.
So we're talking about 9 to 15 hours of recording
Yes,
a week.
yeah.
And it just, unless we could keep the studio going and keep
Mhm.
clients going and still work ourselves in, why
Mhm.
it wouldn't pay, excuse me, to do that. So we just rent outside facilities, and because of the amount of work we do, I can work deals with them to give them all of our business and get it a reduced rate and so forth. So then along with that, every session that we do, we have to call all the musicians through this office and make out all their contracts and keep all the unions straight and make sure that we fulfill all the requirements for them. There's an awful lot of paperwork with regard to music cue sheets, and there's also a lot of inquests of people calling in and wanting to know where they can get the main title of this, and they're having a banquet in their school and they want to use the Scooby-Doo main title, or they want to, that kind of thing, which is all handled through here. We have a lot of outside productions done. For instance, there's a show that we're doing now, a movie called Forever Like the Rose, which was an animated feature brought out of the United States. We brought it in, redid all the music, and added songs to it, and Seals and Croft did the songs. So they sort of an outside producer handling the music for this film. Then that all has to come through this office also to make sure that because we are subleasing the thing to them, and they're working under our license, that again the union things are all taken care of, and a lot of times they don't know what we need with regard to.
At all? Somebody in charge of archives?
Not really, no.
See, that's something that I just met the man from Disney who handles their archives, and I'm going to go see him in a couple of days. That to me, and they have 2 floors, two big huge floors in the Roy Disney building, devoted to their archives, and they just have piles of everything. You
That'd
see,
be
and
interesting.
2 years ago, I was asked to be on a show called It Takes All Kinds, and I was asked to bring along my collection of what I could bring down there. So I brought a trailer load down. It took me about 4 hours to set it all up. It was for a Christmas Eve program, so it was kind of worth it to me. And it's nice because I don't have the room anywhere to set this stuff up to take a picture. So it's nice, I have this studio with the lights to take a shot of this thing. And at that time, I thought it would be fun to get some things from Clampett and from Walter Lance to see if they had anything that they wanted also to be displayed, and I would borrow it from them and return it. Well, I took a few things from Lance and from Clampett, and I called here, and I said, do you have any things, that you would like to have to be displayed along with my collection? And I will say that it was from Hanna-Barbera Productions, and they said, well, we had a bunch of stuff in the lobby a few years ago, but it was all given away. Given away? Where was it given away? To employees or something? No, to hospitals. And I asked the same thing of Bill. I said, what happens to all that? All the products that Hanna-Barbera produced, what happens to them all? Do you save one of each thing? Or no. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe it. Because I have things that I've gotten out of Goodwills that I know are probably the last of. Because the kids break them or people throw them out or something.
Now we don't.
In fact, the things that I have from the Hanna-Barbera collection are better than the things that Joe has in his office. I'm talking about as far as quality, as far as amount or what.
Well, merchandising stuff we never even get sent in here.
Yeah.
We don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah, well.
Like the lunch pails.
You have to have some permission, but it's all I'm through correspondence of papers, and I'm sure they must come in here with a model and say they don't even do that.
No, that's all done through the merchandising wing, which is now in Cincinnati, and they just license out the product. I'm sure that they have some control over looking at it before it's actually produced, but we don't see it. And
that's interesting. It's out there in Cincinnati.
When they closed down the record thing, I got a copy or two of everything that they had, and saved it. And then they
You're
got
looking there, is that it? I mean,
well,
you got a whole bunch.
that's one right there that's the only one of its kind left.
Jack and the Beanstalk.
Right. And
That this company has, yes.
yeah. And so then I had them in a box, and they said, well, they're gonna issue some of these in Australia. We need to send this box down there. And I said, no, I don't want to send this box. I'll never see it again. And
Right.
if something legally comes up, I don't have any information to say who was on it or anything about it.
Yes.
They sent it to Australia, and they threw it out. They moved offices down there and threw it out, and it's gone, you know. And that happens over and over again.
Mhm.
You know, the whole record division, they threw out all the files, all the contracts, everything.
Mhm.
And now they're talking about reissuing that record, and we can't find any contracts on it. We don't know what kind of contract we have with Gene Kelly, you know, if we
Mhm.
reissue it or anything. So
Yeah.
it was the whole thing has been...
The same thing, believe it or not, with Capitol Records. I went there because I had to get permission to use the original Bozo record cover. And I said, well, what happened to all the Bozo records? I mean, can you just show them to me so I can just see what I should look for? I mean, I would like to see what the Bozo records you have. And the guy says, wow, we sold most of those at the record sale. Record sale? What record sale? When can I come? And go out for an employee record sale. You know, we sold them all. Don't you want to save them? I can't understand that. Can I look at some of them, you guys?
Well, that's...
Oh, this is
I
just
just laid
one.
that
I
out
thought
there.
that was a stack.
You know, we have...
I would like to see.
The only thing I have some of the old...
You stop that. Do you have anything else that you would like to make a statement of in this book? I mean, any personal opinion you might have?
I have a lot of personal opinions, and I don't know if I want them put in the book.
Well, anything I would use, I would send to you, so you'll have another chance to look it over again.
Well, music in cartoons, you know, has come to the place where it is from beginning to end. It's wall to wall. There's always music going.
Mm-hmm.
So it has come to the place where we have to establish every year a library for every show.
Mm-hmm.
And legally, from the union standpoint, we have to record X number of 3-hour sessions to put that library on our shelf and use it for 13 or 16 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of that time, it's supposed to be thrown out and never used again.
Mm-hmm.
If you do another Scooby-Doo next year, you record another Scooby-Doo library. So in every library situation, we have to record X number of chases, good guys and bad guys, X number of dialogue unders, X number of bridges,
Mm-hmm.
and make that all available to the cutter that's cutting the music for that show. When it's all laid in there, we may score to picture the first 2 or 3 shows, so that the music can just be laid right into that picture and it'll fit it, because it's been scored specifically for that picture.
Mm-hmm.
But then we find that the chase out of the first picture is about the same length and duration as the chase out of the fourth picture, and that same chase can be put in over here. That's the cutter's discretion to do that. All we have to do is record the music for him. A lot of the shows will have ethnic things in them.
I noticed that the cutting rooms are right next to you.
Right.
Are you able to watch over their shoulder all the time and help them out? Or?
I can. If they run into a problem, they'll come in here and say, you know, I have to have a snake charmer flute, and we didn't record anything like that. Do you have anything? Well, I keep those kind of things in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, yeah, I've got 2 or 3 snake charmer flutes, and they'll play them for them, and they'll take them up and have them transferred. Or
So you're always listening for new sounds in your head.
Right, and
not at work, you're always...
when we're recording the music, if in the music I hear a sound effect, like for instance a couple sessions ago, one of the synthesizers guys did a real nice kind of a tinkly, well, what I heard it as was ice music. A lot of times if they're in the snow and there's a pad of ice and they're walking along and it's obviously frozen and cold, you just need a very soft, tinkly sort of an effect for that. And so at the end of that number, I stopped them and I said, I want to record just that synthesizer doing that sound effect, And I pulled that out and I just put it back there as ice music. Now I've got to remember that so that someday somebody will walk in and say, we're doing a Flintstone Christmas special and I need this tinkly little ice music. And then I'll go back to that. We bought this also for that. We made that. This right here we used on the last Flintstone. That kind of a thing through echo is a very nice ice music kind of a sound.
Yeah.
And so we're always looking for those kinds of things, and a lot of times they'll use it and they'll throw it out. They don't keep it in the library, and it's a special thing. Their library is so huge and they're so busy that they just throw it out. So then I keep a lot of musical effects in here, like we'll call a guy who plays a Kyoto or some special instrument. We'll record that and I'll hide the master back here because I know that 3 years from now they're going to do a Japanese show and they're going to need music for that. So we do a lot of that sort of thing. The other day I had somebody who needed an out-of-tune accordion thing, and it was just kind of a thing. And so we had to go find that. I bought one, as a matter of fact, and bought the accordion and keep it. It was kind of the time you rent it for $50 and you can buy it for $100. You know, I'd just as soon have it so that next time it's here. So we build up a lot of instruments. Some of them are hanging around on the wall here. Last year, or this year I guess it was, we needed a lot of bagpipe sounds on one of the Scooby-Doo shows, and we tried it ourselves, and come to find out it takes about 2 hours to prepare a bagpipe to get it to play. You got to oil it, and you got to Debbie Reynolds, and we just finished 16 songs with Sammy Davis and Lauren Green, and and those people are a lot of fun to work with usually.
And you really have a chance to really get in there and work with them and make suggestions and
get
to know them. And tell me briefly about your background. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Michigan, Kalamazoo, Michigan. And would have never ever dreamed that I would have ended up here. Did you major in college in music?
In
music, yeah. But I was really going into a sort of a teaching program, and I got in even when I was in college. I was doing a lot of singing, professional singing, and traveling, and radio shows and things. And
when you say singing, what, a nightclubs kind of thing, or
no,
what kind of style do you have?
For instance, I do a lot of outside the studio. I do maybe 50 albums a year that I sing, either in the background group vocals or solos, or I contract them.
Could you mention some of the groups you work with?
Well, most of the stuff that I do is sort of religious pop stuff. There's about 10.
There's a big new market for that now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's beginning to boom.
And guys like Ralph Carmichael and people who are doing really a lot of that sort of thing. I mean, like 20 albums a year, 30 albums a year. So there's a lot of work in that area. And when I first came out here, I was contracting the musicians and the singers and packaging those albums for the companies. And they would be from out of state, and they'd just call me and say, I need 25 musicians and 16 singers. And I would package it for them and so forth. And so that's how I got to know so many singers. And I do a lot of commercials, sing on a lot of commercials.
How you got to be so confident. You were pretty much doing the same thing there that you're doing now, but you're doing larger scale.
When Bill hired me, I had never, he hired me to do the record division thing. And Bill is a big barbershop quartet fan. So Ted Nichols, who I knew from Church the Open Door, where I was his tenor soloist, he was the music director down Church the Open Door. And he was also the music director here. And so he said, could you come out here and sing top tenor for Bill's quartet for a while because the guy is sick or something. And so I did. And finally, after about 6 weeks, I said, I can't keep coming out here. And it's just, you're going to have to find somebody else. And Hannah said to me, well, how about if we give you a job out here? Then you'd be here. And at the time, I was doing a lot of various musical things around town, and I was also working in an office equipment store in Pasadena. And I said, well, yeah, that'd be super if I could, get off once in a while to do these. And so he said, fine. Do you know anything about records? And I said, oh, yeah, sure, I know about records. Well, I knew they were round and they had a hole in the center. And so right after that, I started here as taking over their record division. I didn't know up from down about it, but they had done it all here. So when I needed a cover done, I went to the art department and I said, you guys have been doing all these great covers for us, and I've got this new Flintstone Meets the Orchestra album, was the first one that I did. And I said, I need a cover for that, and I'd like to have you explain to me what your process is, how you do it. And
you worked a lot with people prior to the job, so really what it comes down to is being able to work well with people. And
that was it, and just let them continue doing what they were already doing, and sort of make sure that it got done. And so
after all the right ingredients, you're making the soup.
Right. So it was scary for me. It was really scary. But come to the place now where I really feel confident about what I'm doing, and I enjoy what I'm doing.
How long have you been here now?
12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
And you have a family, I see.
Yeah, I have three.
I don't know how much of all this I'm going to use, but it may have a space.
As a matter of fact, the kids, I use my kids on some of our cartoon things, singing. They both sing, and they do some commercials outside of the studio. It's fun for them, and because of the record connection, there are a lot of children's records made, and they have sung on several children's records. They do solos and they sing in the group and stuff. And on the Flintstone Christmas special that we completed for last year, they sang all the kids' voices on that. And so it's kind of fun for them and fun for me to be able to use them on this stuff. So, but anyway, that's about what we do. If you'd like to hear some of the stuff, I feel that our music is more sophisticated and better produced than many of the primetime nighttime series. I feel that we put more money into it, more time into it. We feel, as far as hiring musicians,
you're a family, whereas a lot of the other musical directors for other television shows they're so short-lived. I mean, if they're canceled after 4 years, then that's it.
Right.
The band could break up. You have different people.
It would be interesting for you to talk to some of the musicians that we use, because they really enjoy. We try and hire really good musicians, and we try and create an atmosphere of fun work.
Yes.
And our music is fun. I mean, it's light and it's happy. It's because of the way Hoyt writes it. It's very difficult sometimes, very demanding, and it's very hard to produce and mix because of all the various colors that are going on in the orchestra. And the melody goes, in a 2-bar section of woodwinds, 2 bars to trumpet, 2 bars to xylophone, all over the orchestra. So it's difficult stuff sometimes, but it's a lot of fun. And we do a lot of work. This year we've done about 80 recording sessions. That's 80 3-hour sessions, and that's a lot of, a 3-hour session is 15 minutes worth of music. So a writer has written a half of a symphony for time-wise for every 3-hour session. So it keeps them very busy. And as I say, the music is good. Really is good. The networks even this year have commented on how much they've appreciated the quality. Some of the other studios that are producing cartoon music are going overseas to do their music. They're hiring very small orchestras, which is fine. You go out to a movie house and watch a Charlie Brown movie, and you'll find that it is scored with a rhythm section, organ, and piano. That's about all they have. And maybe once in a while a trumpet, once in a while a trombone. But it's maybe 8-10 pieces. So we're doubling that and really have a distinct quality sound. So, although you don't often hear that, because the level of sound on television would be the voice, the sound effects, and then the music on the bottom with regard to loudness.
Paul Maher's Children's Television Archive.